All right, get ready to dive deep into hydration during pregnancy with us today.
Yeah, we're going to be breaking down some blog posts from Newcastle Obstetrics and Ultrasound for Women.
And let me tell you, these posts are packed with insights.
Yeah, they had tons of practical tips, and they even shared this really memorable story about a coffee-loving mom-to-be named Margaret.
Oh, we'll definitely have to get to Margaret's story later.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
But first, let's tackle the basics. Like, why do pregnant women need even more water than the average person?
Well, think about it. You're basically building a human being from scratch.
Yeah, it's a pretty demanding job.
It is, and water is like the main ingredient in almost every step of the process.
Okay, so it's more than just quenching your thirst.
Way more. It's crucial for things like forming the amniotic fluid, which is that protective cushion around the baby.
So it's about creating a comfy environment for the little one.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there. Water is also essential for producing all that extra blood that's needed to transport oxygen and nutrients to both mom and baby.
That makes sense. The mom's body's going through some major changes too.
Oh, absolutely. Water helps build new tissue as your uterus and breasts grow.
Oh yeah, those are definitely expanding.
And it helps deliver nutrients to those cells and keeps everything moving smoothly in your digestive system.
It's like water is the ultimate multitasker for pregnancy.
It really is. It's like a superhero in disguise.
So we know water is the MVP, but how much are we talking about here? Is there like a magic number pregnant women should be aiming for?
The blog posts recommend 8 to 12 glasses a day,
Okay, that seems doable.
which is about 2.3 liters.
All right, that's good to know.
And they have this really simple trick for checking if you're hydrated enough.
Oh, I've heard about this. It's the P test, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just check the color of your urine. If it's pale or colorless, you're good to go.
Got it. But what if it's not? What happens if you don't drink enough? What are the risks of dehydration during pregnancy?
Well, dehydration during pregnancy can actually be pretty serious, you know?
Oh,
Uh,
more serious than just feeling a bit thirsty.
yeah, it can increase the risk of certain complications. Like, have you ever experienced overheating, headaches, or just feeling really sluggish?
Oh yeah, especially during my first trimester. I was basically a walking furnace.
Well, those can all be signs of dehydration.
Really? I just thought it was all the hormones.
Hormones play a role, but dehydration can definitely make those symptoms worse, along with having darker, more concentrated urine.
So those seemingly small signs could actually be pointing to a bigger problem.
Exactly. If you're dehydrated, your body's struggling to do all those essential pregnancy things we talked about earlier.
So it's not just about feeling good, it's about preventing serious complications.
Right. It can lead to things like low amniotic fluid levels, which can impact the baby's development.
Wow, I had no idea dehydration could be linked to that.
It can even increase the risk of preterm labor.
Okay, that's definitely something to avoid.
Dehydration can also contribute to kidney stones, which are no fun at all.
Kidney stones sound terrible.
And it can worsen swelling and increase your risk of urinary tract infections.
So basically, dehydration is a big no-no during pregnancy.
Yeah, pretty much. But let's switch gears to a more positive note. What about the amazing benefits of staying well hydrated?
All right, I'm ready for some good news.
These blog posts were full of them. One that stood out to me was that good hydration can actually help with those annoying pregnancy discomforts like constipation and hemorrhoids.
Okay, sign me up for that.
Yeah.
Who needs more discomfort when you're already dealing with a growing belly and all the hormonal craziness?
Right. And it can also reduce swelling in your hands and feet.
Oh, that would be a relief.
And it can help prevent fatigue and headaches, giving you more energy to tackle your day.
So it's like a natural energy booster.
It can be. Plus, it helps regulate your body temperature so you're less likely to overheat.
Which is especially important during those hot Aussie summers.
Absolutely. And as we talked about, it's key for lowering your risk of urinary tract infections.
This is all starting to make a lot of sense. It's like hydration is the foundation for a healthy and comfortable pregnancy.
Exactly. It's like building a house on solid ground.
And speaking of foundations, the blog post also highlighted a major benefit. Staying hydrated can actually decrease the risk of preterm labor and preterm birth.
Yeah, that's huge.
Okay, you convinced me. I'm officially on team hydration. But let's get practical. What are some easy ways to stay hydrated? I feel like I'm constantly guzzling water, but maybe I'm not doing it right.
One of the simplest tips is to add flavor to your water.
Yes, I'm so over plain water. It's like drinking air.
Right. The blog post suggests adding things like lemons, limes, or frozen raspberries for a refreshing twist.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about making hydration more enjoyable.
They also mention limiting caffeine, which we can dive into later. Another simple tip is to boost your fruit and vegetable intake.
Okay, that's interesting. I wouldn't normally think of fruits and veggies as a hydration strategy.
They contain a lot of water. It's like sneaking in extra fluids while also getting a boost of vitamins and fiber.
So it's about making smart choices throughout the day, not just chugging water at random intervals.
Right. And remember, all fluids count towards your daily goal, not just plain water.
That's good to know. So milk, juice, sparkling water, even soups can contribute to your overall intake.
Exactly. And they also emphasize the importance of listening to your body. Drink before you feel thirsty, and monitor the color of your urine to make sure you're staying on top of your hydration.
Okay, so it's about being proactive rather than reactive.
And especially during those hot summers, it's crucial to beat the heat by exercising indoors or during cooler times of the day.
So true. I melt in the summer heat.
And what about exercise in general? Do you usually increase your water intake when you're working out?
I try to, but I sometimes forget.
Well, it's super important to stay hydrated when you're active, especially during pregnancy. Your body needs that extra hydration to keep up with the demands of exercise.
Got it. Now let's talk about caffeine. I know this is a bit of a controversial topic during pregnancy.
Yeah, it can be. The blog posts actually dedicate a whole section to caffeine, which shows how important it is to address this.
I'm curious to hear what they have to say. What's the official word on caffeine during pregnancy?
The recommendation is to limit your intake to 200 milligrams or less per day.
Okay, 200 milligrams. But how much caffeine is actually in a cup of coffee or tea?
They provide a helpful table that breaks down the caffeine content of common drinks. For example, a teaspoon of instant coffee has about 60 milligrams of caffeine,
Okay, so that's not too bad.
but a cup of brewed coffee has around 100.
So 2 cups of brewed coffee, you've already hit the limit.
Exactly. And other drinks to be mindful of include espresso, black tea, green tea, energy drinks, and even cola.
What about those of us who are practically addicted to our morning coffee? What are the risks of going over that 200 milligram limit?
Research suggests that there is a link between high caffeine intake and things like fetal growth restrictions.
Oh, wow. So it could have long-term implications for the child's health.
Exactly. It's not just about the immediate risks during pregnancy.
It's about potentially impacting the child's health for years to come.
Right. For example, one study they mentioned found that caffeine intake during pregnancy might increase the baby's risk of having a low birth weight.
So it's really something to take seriously.
It is, and what's concerning is that low birth weight infants may experience excess growth during infancy, which can lead to childhood obesity and chronic diseases later in life.
Wow, that's a powerful message.
Yeah, it really makes you think.
So how did the clinic approach this sensitive topic with Margaret, our coffee-loving mom-to-be? Did they just tell her to quit cold turkey?
Not at all. They actually took a very positive and supportive approach.
That's good to hear.
They understood that for many women, coffee is more than just a drink.
Yeah, it's a ritual, a comfort.
Exactly. So instead of forcing her to quit, they worked with her to find practical ways to reduce her intake and find alternatives she enjoyed.
I love that. It's all about finding solutions that work for you, not just imposing strict rules.
Right, because that's just not sustainable.
What kind of alternatives do they suggest?
Decaf coffee was a big one, and they pointed out that the quality of decaf has improved so much in recent years.
Oh, that's good to know.
They also suggested tea, both regular and herbal.
Okay, I'm a big tea drinker, so that works for me.
They specifically recommended lemon and ginger tea for morning sickness, too.
Oh, that's a nice little bonus.
And the blog posts also suggest exploring the world of water, both plain and carbonated.
I can get behind that.
You could try cold water tea bags for a refreshing flavor without the caffeine.
I've never tried that, but I'm willing to give it a go.
Milk-based drinks and nut milks are also good options.
Lots of great choices there.
And if you're struggling to find substitutes, they recommend talking to a dietitian.
That's always a good idea. Speaking of healthy choices, I'm curious about the connection between hydration and immunity. The blog post mentioned the importance of the gut microbiome during pregnancy.
Oh yeah, the gut microbiome. It's this whole hidden world within our bodies.
It sounds kind of mysterious.
It is, and it plays a vital role in supporting both you and your baby's health, especially when it comes to immunity.
So a healthy gut equals a stronger immune system.
Exactly. But during pregnancy, your immune system is naturally suppressed a bit.
Why is that?
Well, it's to prevent it from rejecting the developing baby.
So the baby is like an honorary guest.
In a way, yeah. But this means that pregnant women are more susceptible to infections, especially during cold and flu season.
Ah, that makes sense. So a healthy gut microbiome can help boost your immunity when you need it most.
Exactly. It's like having an extra layer of protection.
But how do we actually keep our gut microbiome healthy?
That's where nutrition comes in. The food we eat feeds not only us, but also those trillions of bacteria living in our gut.
So it's like we're feeding two mouths when we eat.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And just like we need a balanced diet for our own health, our gut microbiome needs one too.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What kind of foods should we be eating to keep those gut bacteria happy and thriving during pregnancy?
The key is to focus on foods that are rich in fiber.
Okay, so lots of fruits, veggies, and whole grains.
Exactly. Those act as prebiotics, which are basically food for the good bacteria in our gut.
So it's all about those plant-based powerhouses.
Right. And fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi are also really good for gut health.
Ah, probiotics. I've heard so much about them. Are they safe to eat during pregnancy?
Generally, yes, most fermented foods are safe.
Good to know.
But it's always best to check with your healthcare provider if you have any concerns.
Always good advice. This is all so fascinating. It's incredible how interconnected everything is during pregnancy, from hydration to gut health to immunity.
It really is. It's like a delicate ecosystem that needs to be carefully balanced.
And what's empowering is that we can actually influence this ecosystem through our lifestyle choices.
Exactly. By staying hydrated, making smart food choices, and managing stress, you can create an optimal environment for both yourself and your developing baby.
Okay, that's a powerful message. This deep dive has been so insightful.
I'm glad you're finding it helpful.
I'm already feeling more informed and motivated to prioritize my health during pregnancy.
That's fantastic to hear. There's always more to learn about this incredible journey.
Bethos.
But even small changes can make a big difference.
I'm ready to take on the challenge.
Me too. You know, I love that these blog posts really emphasize that small changes can make a big difference when it comes to hydration.
For sure. It's not like we need to overhaul our entire lives, right?
No, not at all. It's all about finding those little tweaks that fit into your routine.
Right, totally.
Yeah.
And speaking of those little tweaks, did the posts have any tips for making hydration a more, I don't know, enjoyable habit?
They did, actually. One that I really liked was the idea of just keeping a water bottle with you all the time.
Oh my gosh, I'm a total water bottle fanatic. Like, I feel lost without it.
Me too, me too. And if you find yourself getting bored with plain water, they suggest getting creative with infused water.
Infused water, yeah, that always sounds so fancy.
Right, like cucumber and mint, strawberry and basil, lemon and ginger. You can even try adding veggies.
Wow, veggies, that's next level.
It's like a spa treatment in a bottle.
I love it. I've always wanted to try infused water, but never knew where to start, so I'm definitely going to try some of those combos.
Yeah, they sound delicious. And another easy way to boost your hydration is by choosing hydrating snacks.
Hydrating snacks. Okay, interesting. What are we talking about here?
Like juicy fruits like watermelon and berries,
Yeah, those are refreshing.
or crunchy veggies like cucumbers and celery.
Okay, so it's not just about what you drink.
Right. And they're not only hydrating, but they're also packed with nutrients.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
You're satisfying your hunger and boosting your hydration at the same time.
Exactly. And let's not forget about soups, especially when it's cold outside.
Oh my gosh, yes. Soup is my love language in winter.
It's so comforting, and it's a sneaky way to get in those extra fluids.
Totally agree. Okay, we're on a roll with these hydration tips. But did the blog posts talk about any specific concerns or challenges related to hydration during pregnancy?
Yeah, they did actually. One of them was morning sickness.
Ugh, morning sickness the worst.
I know. Which can make it really hard to keep anything down, let alone water.
I remember those early weeks feeling like I was constantly battling nausea.
So for those times, they actually recommend sucking on ice chips or frozen fruit pops.
Okay, that's a good idea.
They provide a slow and steady source of hydration that's gentler on your stomach.
Plus, it's like a little treat, right?
Exactly. What other challenges did they cover? Let me think. Oh, another concern they mentioned was frequent urination.
Oh my gosh, yes, that's a big one.
Right. Like, it can be so tempting to just cut back on fluids altogether to avoid those constant bathroom trips.
I know, but that's probably the opposite of what you should be doing, right?
Yeah, it's actually counterproductive.
It's like a catch-22. You're thirsty, but you also don't want to be living in the bathroom.
Exactly. Though the key is to stay ahead of the game, you know?
Okay, so drink even if you're running to the bathroom all the time.
Yeah. It's better to be well hydrated and pee more often than to risk dehydration.
Good point. Makes sense.
They also recommended trying to drink more water earlier in the day.
To try and minimize those nighttime bathroom trips.
Exactly. Nobody wants to be waking up every hour to pee, especially when sleep is so precious during pregnancy.
So true, so true. Did they have any other timing-related tips, like when to drink and how much to drink at once and things like that?
They did. They said, try to sip water slowly throughout the day.
Okay, so no chugging.
Right, rather than chugging large amounts all at once, because this actually helps your body absorb the fluids more efficiently.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. It's like the slow and steady wins the race approach to hydration.
Exactly. Now, I know this might seem like a jump, but they also touched on the importance of staying hydrated during labor.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Labor's like a marathon.
It is. And maintaining adequate fluid levels can really help you cope with all the challenges of childbirth.
Yeah, it's easy to forget about basic needs like hydration when you're focused on, bringing a human being into the world.
Totally. They recommended talking to your healthcare provider about what's appropriate for your situation.
Good advice,
Uh,
because every birth is different.
yeah, some hospitals might allow you to sip on water or clear fluids during labor,
Right.
while others might have different guidelines.
So always good to check with the experts. But it sounds like the general principle is the same. Hydration is key.
Yeah, no matter what stage of pregnancy you're in.
Or even after,
Right.
right. Because they also talked about the importance of staying hydrated postpartum, especially if you're breastfeeding.
Exactly. Milk production requires a ton of fluids.
So it's like the hydration journey doesn't end with pregnancy. Yeah. It's a lifelong commitment to taking care of yourself and your little one.
I like that. It's very true.
But I'm curious, did they mention any long-term benefits of staying hydrated during pregnancy?
Long-term benefits, huh? Well, they didn't get into specific studies, but there's growing evidence that maternal nutrition during pregnancy has a lasting impact on the child's health.
So it's not just about getting through pregnancy. It's about setting the stage for a healthy future for your kid.
That's a great way to put it. And hydration is definitely a key part of that.
By making sure you're adequately hydrated, you're giving your baby the best possible environment for growth and development.
And that can have positive effects throughout their life.
Wow, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
It really puts things into perspective. I'm so glad we decided to do this deep dive.
Me too.
It's been super informative,
I agree.
and I'm feeling even more motivated to prioritize my health.
It's all about those small steps adding up, right?
Definitely. Now, before we move on, I wanted to touch on something we haven't really discussed yet,
What's that?
the mental and emotional benefits of hydration.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good point. We've been focusing a lot on the physical side of things.
Right, but hydration is about so much more than just physical health.
Yeah.
It impacts our mental and emotional well-being, too.
Big time. Like, think about it. When you're dehydrated, don't you feel kind of sluggish and irritable, maybe even a bit anxious?
Yeah, totally.
But when you're drinking enough water, you tend to feel more alert, energized, and emotionally balanced, right?
Yeah, it's amazing how such a simple thing can have such a profound impact.
I know, right? And especially during pregnancy, when your hormones are already all over the place, those mental and emotional benefits are even more important.
Yeah, it's like hydration is a superpower for coping with all the ups and downs of pregnancy.
Exactly. And by nurturing yourself in this way, you're also creating a more positive and supportive environment for your baby.
So it's like a ripple effect of well-being.
That's a great way to think about it.
This has been such a holistic and eye-opening conversation. I feel like we've covered so much ground.
Yeah, we have.
From practical tips
Yeah.
to the deeper impact of hydration on our overall well-being.
It's been a good one.
It has. But before we wrap up this part, I want to throw out a little challenge to our listeners.
Woo! I like a challenge. Let's hear it.
All right, for the next week, I challenge you to make hydration a conscious priority.
I'm in.
Set reminders on your phone, keep a water bottle close by, experiment with those infused water ideas we talked about,
All good ideas.
and just notice how you feel when you're consistently well hydrated.
Notice those little shifts.
And listeners, we want to hear from you. Share your hydration wins, your favorite flavor combos, any insights you have.
Let's make it a collective effort.
We're all in this together.
Absolutely. Now let's move on to our final part, where we'll explore the fascinating world of the gut microbiome and its impact on pregnancy health.
Okay, I'm feeling extra hydrated and totally ready to explore the whole gut microbiome thing.
It's pretty fascinating stuff. We're talking about trillions of bacteria living in our digestive system.
Trillions, wow. So they must be doing something important.
They are. It's not just about digestion, though. These bacteria play a role in our overall health, especially during pregnancy.
Okay, so what else do they do?
Well, think of it as an ecosystem. They help us digest food, they produce vitamins, and they actually train our immune system. Research is now suggesting that a healthy gut microbiome can influence everything from gestational weight gain to the baby's immune development.
So it's not just about keeping mom healthy, it's about setting the baby up for success too.
Exactly. It's all connected. But here's a question for you. Do you think the gut microbiome actually changes during pregnancy?
I'm not sure. Does it?
It does. Pregnancy hormones, along with changes in diet and lifestyle, can really shake things up in your gut.
Makes sense. Everything's changing during pregnancy.
Right, and studies have shown that as pregnancy progresses, there's a decrease in the variety of bacteria and an increase in certain types that are associated with inflammation.
Inflammation. That doesn't sound so good. Is that something to be worried about?
Well, a little inflammation is normal during pregnancy. It's how your body adapts to the growing baby, but too much inflammation can lead to complications like gestational diabetes and preeclampsia.
So the gut microbiome actually helps regulate inflammation levels.
It does. And what's even more mind-blowing is that the bacteria in our gut can communicate with our immune system. They're like tiny messengers influencing how our bodies react to different things.
Okay, I'm officially in awe of my gut bacteria. It's like they have a whole communication system going on in there.
It's pretty incredible. But all this talk about gut health might make you wonder, how do we actually support it during pregnancy?
You read my mind. Spill the secrets.
Nutrition is key, just like with hydration. The food we eat feeds not only our bodies, but also those trillions of bacteria in our gut.
So it's like we're feeding two mouths when we eat.
I like that analogy. And just like we need a balanced diet for ourselves, our gut microbiome needs one too.
Okay, so what should we be eating to keep those gut bacteria happy and thriving?
Focus on fiber-rich foods.
Got it. Fruits, veggies, whole grains.
All those good things, they act as prebiotics, which are basically food for the good bacteria.
Prebiotics. Okay, I'm learning so much today.
And fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi are also superstars for gut health.
Oh yeah, I love yogurt.
They contain probiotics, which are live bacteria that can help replenish and diversify the gut microbiome.
Probiotics, right? Those are the good guys.
Exactly. They help keep the balance in check.
Are they safe to eat during pregnancy?
Most fermented foods are safe, but it's always a good idea to double check with your doctor, just to be sure.
Always good advice. What other tips do you have for supporting a healthy gut microbiome during pregnancy? Besides food, I mean.
Well, remember how we talked about hydration being so important? It's crucial for a healthy gut, too.
Right. Water keeps everything flowing.
Exactly. Another big one is stress management.
Ugh, stress. Easier said than done sometimes.
I know, especially during pregnancy when there are already so many demands and changes happening.
But chronic stress can actually mess with your gut microbiome, right?
It can, and that can lead to imbalances that contribute to other health issues.
So what can we do about it?
Finding ways to relax and de-stress can make a huge difference. Think exercise, meditation, yoga, spending time in nature, anything that helps you unwind.
So self-care is gut care.
You got it. And don't forget about sleep. Sleep deprivation can also disrupt the balance of bacteria in your gut.
It's amazing how everything is connected.
It really is.
But how do we know if something's off with our gut microbiome? Like, are there any warning signs?
Listen to your body. Digestive issues like constipation, diarrhea, bloating, gas, those can all be signs that something's not quite right.
Okay, those are definitely not fun.
Other signs could be fatigue, skin problems, mood swings, food sensitivities, things like that.
So if we notice any of those, it's probably worth talking to our doctor or a dietitian, right?
Definitely. They can help you figure out what's going on and create a plan to get your gut back on track.
Well, I think we've officially covered all things hydration and gut health today. This deep dive has been so insightful. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise.
It's been my pleasure. This is such an important topic, and I'm glad we could break it down for our listeners.
It's amazing how much these little things like water and gut bacteria can impact our health, especially during pregnancy.
Right. It's all about creating the optimal environment for both mom and baby to thrive.
Well said. So to wrap things up, what are your top takeaways for our listeners?
Remember that taking care of yourself is one of the best things you can do for your baby. Focus on those small, sustainable changes like drinking enough water, eating plenty of fiber and fermented foods, managing stress levels, and prioritizing sleep.
It's all about those healthy habits adding up over time.
Exactly. And remember, you're not alone on this journey. Reach out to your healthcare providers if you have any questions or concerns.
Great advice. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into hydration and pregnancy.
It's been a fun one.
It has. I hope our listeners feel empowered to make informed choices that support both their well-being and the health of their little ones.
To healthy and happy pregnancies.
Cheers to that. And until next time, happy hydrating.